You miss one introduction at a coworking event, give a flat answer at dinner, and suddenly you're thinking, great, I guess I'll become mysterious now.
Or you go back to your apartment with takeout, replay the conversation 3 times, and decide the entire city has quietly rejected you. It was one tired interaction, but it can start making decisions for the rest of your week.
And the next morning, there's another meetup on the calendar. You see it, feel that little drop in your stomach, and think, maybe I'll go next week.
That is what we're unpacking today. How to recover after an awkward conversation, a missed connection, or a social rejection without carrying it into your next opportunity to belong. Welcome to the Nomad Love and Community Podcast, episode 25. I'm Sophia Chen with James Mitchell.
And we're talking about the social reset. Not a trick for making everybody like you. Not a demand to attend every event. Just a way to get your energy, your interpretation, and your next choice back in your hands.
Exactly. Nomad life gives you so many fresh starts, but fresh starts can be tiring. You are learning streets, routines, names, social norms, and sometimes an entirely new version of yourself. One imperfect conversation can feel much bigger when you don't yet have a familiar friend nearby to say, that was just a weird 5 minutes.
So we're going to work through 3 moves. Steady the body, examine the story, and decide what to do about the connection. And that last part includes doing nothing.
I'm glad you said that. A reset is not another productivity task where you optimize yourself until you become socially invincible.
Because socially invincible sounds exhausting.
And unnecessary. The goal is not to guarantee a good outcome. It's to make sure one outcome doesn't remove all your other options. Start with the body. Before you analyze what somebody meant, ask what condition you were in. Had you eaten? Were you hydrated? Had you slept? Were your shoulders up around your ears because you'd been carrying a backpack through 3 train stations?
Especially after a travel day, you can be trying to make a meaningful first impression while your nervous system is still wondering where your luggage went.
And whether the sandwich you ate at the airport counts as dinner. Right. Give yourself 5 minutes before you give the interaction a verdict. Drink water. Take 4 slow breaths, making the exhale a little longer. Put both feet on the floor. Let your shoulders drop. Then choose one small action that makes you feel cared for and ready. Wash your face. Brush your hair. Apply moisturizer. Change your shirt. Or step outside for fresh air.
For me, that might be rinsing my face, tidying my hair, checking that my shirt is presentable, and putting on deodorant. Very glamorous stuff.
Honestly, glamorous is optional. Supported is the point.
Yes, it's not vanity. It's a physical cue that says, I'm moving from rumination back into the world. But I do think people sometimes turn the cue into a test they have to pass.
Like they need perfect hair, perfect clothes, and perfect energy before they're allowed to enter the room.
Exactly. And I'll push back on my own category here. Grooming should help you feel present, not convince you that your appearance determines whether you deserve friendship.
You don't need the perfect outfit to walk into a community. Sometimes the most confidence-building choice is clean, comfortable clothes, and permission to be a little tired. Small daily habits create magnetic presence, but care is not a costume.
Presence beats perfection. A little readiness is enough.
Once your body is a little steadier, look at the story your mind created. James, imagine you leave a conversation and your brain immediately opens a courtroom. What evidence does it bring in first?
Usually the dramatic evidence. They answered briefly. They looked away. I must have been boring.
And then it calls a witness from 6 years ago.
Absolutely. So I write 2 lines. First, what happened that a camera could have recorded. I introduced myself. They answered briefly. They turned toward another conversation. Second, what did I add? They found me boring. Everyone noticed. And I don't belong here. The first line is information. The second line is an interpretation pretending to be a verdict.
That distinction creates breathing room, but I want to challenge one thing before we turn it into forced optimism. If we immediately say they were probably tired, we still don't know that.
I'm not sure I buy every optimistic explanation either. Sometimes someone just isn't interested in talking.
Right, and that can hurt. We don't have to decorate it with a motivational quote. We can say, that felt uncomfortable. I wanted more warmth and I didn't get it. Then we add, I have incomplete information and I will not turn incomplete information into an identity.
So the reframe doesn't have to be positive. It has to be non-final.
Yes, that's the phrase. Non-final. I had an awkward moment. I am not an awkward person. Or, that connection didn't develop. I am still capable of connection. You can acknowledge disappointment without making yourself the problem.
And you can also notice cultural or situational differences without translating them into personal rejection. A short answer may mean someone is busy, shy, unfamiliar with your style, or simply done with the conversation. You don't need to solve the mystery before choosing your next respectful step.
That brings us to the connection itself. You have 3 options, and none of them is morally superior. You can repair the moment, send one warm follow-up, or make a clean re-entry somewhere else.
Repair is for something specific. Maybe you interrupted, forgot a name, or realized you answered while staring at your phone. You can say, I think I rushed that introduction earlier. Let me try again. I'm James. Then stop. No 5-minute explanation about your entire emotional history.
And if you send a follow-up, make it warm and easy to decline. It was nice meeting you at the coworking event. I enjoyed our conversation about local food. If you're going to Thursday's meetup, say hi. That is an invitation, not a contract.
One attempt, then space. If there's no response, a clear no, or repeated distance, let the interaction end. Confidence includes redirecting your energy.
And a clean re-entry means you do not need to repair anything with that person. You return to the next event and talk to someone new. Hi, I'm Sophia. Is this your first time here? That's enough. You're not erasing the earlier moment. You're refusing to let it run the next one.
Curious. Let's put all 3 choices into Maya's week in Lisbon. She arrives after a long travel day, sleeps badly, misses the coworking host's introduction, and later joins a dinner feeling underdressed.
Someone asks her, so, what do you do? Maya says, I work online. The person says, oh, nice, and turns to speak with someone else. Maya smiles, but inside she hears, that was terrible. They could tell I was awkward.
And by the time she gets home, the story has expanded to, I'm terrible at this city. That is a pretty dramatic conclusion from one tired evening.
It is dramatic, but it makes emotional sense. She's carrying jet lag, uncertainty, and the pressure to make the first week count. So her first move is not to force herself into 3 more events. She drinks water, eats something real, takes a shower, changes into comfortable clothes, and gives herself 10 minutes without a self-critique.
Then she writes the facts. I missed an introduction. I gave a brief answer. The conversation changed. The story is, everyone thought I was awkward, and I don't belong. Once those are separate, the evening becomes a few events instead of one giant cloud of shame.
The next morning, Maya can choose a repair. She walks into the co-working space and says to the host, I arrived a little foggy yesterday and missed the introductions. And Maya, it's nice to meet you.
The host might say, welcome, Maya, and start a conversation. Or the host might be busy and give her a quick smile. Either way, Maya has practiced returning without demanding a particular result.
And at the next dinner, she could use a fuller but still simple answer. I work remotely in design, and I'm spending a few weeks in Lisbon. How about you? She does not need to perform a fascinating life story. She just gives the other person a thread to pick up.
That's a great example. not a pitch, a thread.
And if nobody picks it up, she is still allowed to leave, rest, or try another table another day. Resetting is optional self-care, not a command to socialize when her body needs sleep.
Strong habits create strong connections, but a strong habit can be choosing recovery. Sometimes the confident move is a quiet walk, a nourishing meal, or texting a trusted friend instead of attending an event while completely depleted.
For the next 7 days, try this experiment. Once a day, take 5 minutes to study your state before a possible social moment. That moment could be a meetup, a shared table, a conversation with a barista, or simply deciding whether you have the energy to go out.
Once a day, write one fact and one story. Keep them in separate columns. Then choose 2 low-pressure reentries during the week, 1 repair or follow-up, and 1 new or repeated social setting. For a follow-up, send no more than 1 message. Let the other person have room.
Your reflection question is not, did everyone like me? It is, did I give myself another option? If the answer is yes, the experiment is working. You are practicing recovery, not auditioning for universal approval.
And if you skip one day, don't turn the experiment into another reason to criticize yourself. Start again the next morning. Build the habit. Become the man or become the person who can return without making the return dramatic.
If you want help making this consistent, our Nomad Love and Community course gives you structured habits, communication practice, confidence tools, and support for building real community on the road. You do not have to wait until you feel fearless. You can build the system while you are still nervous, tired, or new in tone.
Start with 1 reset this week. Drink the water. Question the story. Make 1 respectful attempt, or choose rest and let the interaction go. The course can help you turn those choices into repeatable habits instead of something you remember only after a difficult night.
Let's optimize you from the inside out. Your appearance can be a cue, not a condition. Your interpretation can be honest without being cruel. And your next social step can be small enough to feel possible.
That's our practical advice for today. Building strong connections is part of building a successful nomad life.
You attract what you become, and becoming more resilient starts with giving yourself another chance to choose. Optimize yourself. Connect deeper. Live freer. We'll see you next weekday.